We're working with 250 content partners and over 100 million learners, 8 million of them in the MENA region, 2.1 million of them in Egypt, I'm pleased to say.
Mike, it's such a pleasure to have you here at our event. Thank you for coming. Would you mind telling us and telling the ecosystem more about yourself, what you do and your company?
So my name is Mike Damiano. I'm the National Education Initiatives Director for Coursera. So I get to work on kind of the big complex projects to bring Coursera to learners on a national level. I've been working in education technology for about 25 years now. Been with Coursera for about 2 years, well 2.5 years, and joined Coursera just when the pandemic was starting, and we had made Coursera available freely to every single university and school that was impacted by the pandemic. So Coursera as a company, we have about 110 million learners globally, and it's a platform where learners come to gain new skills, to get a job or to improve their opportunities in their career. So we have content partners, the likes of the top universities, and also industry partners like Google, IBM, Meta, and they create learning content. It can be a 5-minute video, or a 9-week course, or a 6-month certificate, or even fully online degrees.
They say that the best catalyst for technology and technology companies and startups is the timing. And given that Coursera started in COVID, technically, do you think that right now EdTech has the best potential to grow in MENA region, specifically in Egypt?
So there's certainly been a growth. Coursera as a company started 10 years ago out of Stanford University with 2 professors who wanted to take their course online. Their computer science course was so subscribed and oversubscribed on campus, they couldn't serve their learners. So they put their course online. They had 100,000 learners really quickly. They thought they were onto something. And so roll forward 10 years, we're working with 250 content partners and over 100 million learners, 8 million of them in the MENA region, 2.1 million of them in Egypt, I'm pleased to say. And in fact, even those of those ones in Egypt, about 40% of them are students. So I think timing is really important though. When we saw, I looked at the growth numbers for the MENA region just this morning, and last quarter, so in Q3 of 2020, we saw something like 550,000 new learners join the platform. That's the largest growth we saw since Q2 2020. So what COVID did for the sector, whilst it was devastating, one of the silver linings were that this move to emergency teaching and learning, which a lot of people have spoken about, it caused educators to think, well, this is another way that I can teach my students.
Could you share with us what Coursera is hoping to get out of this event? Having all the EdTech companies and people and corporates and venture capitals interested in EdTech being in one place?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll answer that from Coursera's perspective maybe, but then I also have a personal hope. There's a lot of talk about micro-credentials and changing education systems and the regulatory environment to allow universities and schools to be innovative. We need government help there, we need universities help there, and we need the private sector. So we really need those 3 sectors to come together to make change and to affect change. So I'm interested in understanding how the finance part of that, how the technology and the innovation and the startup part of that can combine together to influence government to change the regulatory environment to make innovation more possible. From my perspective, normally I go to conferences with lots of educators and universities and government folk. Today I get to mingle with other like-minded EdTech folk, and I want to learn from them about how they're being successful in taking their product or their service to market and understanding what differences need to happen at a country level, at a regional level, because we can't just expect one thing to work in one country to work in others.
We hope you find what you're looking for in our event. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much.
Thanks.